So I was with one of my clients yesterday, and it was my first time meeting her. And I go in the house, I get myself acquainted with her, and she has some neighbors that comes over, and they've been helping her for I think a little over 3 years. That's when she had been diagnosed with her condition. So after I'm done getting acquainted with the client, I sit down on the recliner, and I'm just listening to my client and her neighbor have a conversation, and then I catch him, he's staring at me. And then, me and my pleasant demeanor, I just look over there at him and I just lean my head to the side. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" He was just like, "I feel like I've met you before for some reason. You look so familiar." And he was like, "Have you been here before?" And I was like, No, sir. This is my first time here." And he was like, "It's just something really familiar about you. I feel like I've met you before." And me, I play all day. My response was, "Well, maybe that's just your spirit recognizing mine." You feel me? And he looks and he started smiling. He was like, "Our kindred spirits recognizing one another." Now, my client overheard us talking, and she was like, "Wait, who's against who? And what's recognizing one another?" And he was just like, "No, we just gonna call her Miss M." He put his head down and he was like, "Oh my gosh, she's crazy, forgive her." And he was like, "No, Miss M, it's not anyone against anyone. It's for. We are for one another." And that is what encouraged this message for today, right? Because we are all thriving, trying to make it, you feel me? Me like so is you understand? And a lot of us have been desensitized and conditioned to think that we do not need community, we do not need other people. And the conversation that I had with my client's neighbor really brought me back to senses, you feel me? Because just like the people of old needed community, which was Israel and whoever else, the allies that Ahaya allowed them to be in communication with, right? I was just thinking that, we all need community too. Like, I know that, everybody out here, what's that famous saying? Everybody be talking about this self-made. But then I was thinking, is anybody really self-made? Because if you look around and you find any person that is successful, I don't care who they are, where they come from, what they look like, what the background is, the ethnicity. If you find one successful individual and you ask them how did they get to where they are now, I will guarantee you, I put a stack on it. I put a few stacks on it. I guarantee you they are going to tell you that they did not do it by themselves. And that is what the hustle culture allows us to believe, or try to trick us into believing. Because just like I said earlier, it's a form of desensitization when you feel like everything is built just off of the hands of you. No, we need community. Oh baby, that was a word for me, because that was one of the people, I grew up all the time, I just felt like I had to take care of everything by myself. The support was there, but it wasn't like it needed to be. But it is what it is. But because of that, I think a lot of people grow up with me with the lack of the support, you feel me, that they should have had. Then it puts them defaultly puts them in a mind state of, I don't need nobody. But no, yes, we all need somebody. I mean, even, and I hate to break it down scripture biblically for y'all, but y'all know I gotta get y'all the game biblically. This reminds me of just Moses, when God summoned him to deliver the Israelites, right? And after they were delivered from Egypt, they were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. But it was a point in time so where they had to go up against a certain nation. I can't remember if it was the Amalekites or the Canaanites, but it was one of them ites, you know what I'm saying? And I think it was Joshua, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was also Aaron. Joshua and Aaron, they were out, on the battlefield, right? Now Moses had to walk on top of, I think he walked up to to the mountain, right? And the scripture says that Moses, he held his left arm and his right arm. I think he had a staff, and he stood there for hours and hours and hours with his hands elevated to the heavens, right? With the staff in his hands. And scripture said that as long as Moses had his hands elevated towards the heavens, right, God would give them the land. But because Moses was out there in position for so long, I want to say he got tired eventually, you understand me. And when he dropped his hands from being elevated towards the heavens and he dropped the staff, that is when Israel started to lose the battle, right? And while Israel started to lose the battle, Joshua and Aaron, they had both walked up to where Moses was, and one on his left side and one on his right side. They lifted his arms up, and I think he was set down on a rock, right? And as long as Moses had his hands elevated towards the heavens with the staff, so surely did Israel did not prevail, nor did they withdraw nor retreat, but they had won the victory. As long as Moses stood there in position with his hands elevated towards the heavens, and as long as Moses was postured, the Israelites would continue to win victory. And it kind of reminds me of me and you, right? God is in the process of sending us like-minded people because he sees what we're trying to build. And a lot of us not trying to build anything from our own desires, but a lot of us are out here trying to build from the desires that he has placed in our hearts, right? And if you can be honest, if I can be honest, like, I don't think it's going to be an easy task, right? Because if you receive any sort of vision, insight, direction, guidance from God, then you know sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it's too heavy for you to carry by yourself, and that is why God will send us like-minded people in community. Just like Moses. Moses was tasked with the position of making sure that the Israelites were safeguarded from Egypt to the promised land, right? Up until he wasn't, because we all know, and maybe some of you guys do not know this, but after Moses freed the Israelites from the Egyptian because of his anger and because he disobeyed God with a certain command, God told him, you will not be able to enter the promised land, but I will let you see it. You feel me? And that's when I think he put Joshua in charge, and Joshua was like, hold on, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. But because God knows the weight of your calling, right? And he knows the weight of what he is placing in your hands to fulfill. Like, he knows you will not be able to do it by yourself, so he will send you community, right? The same way Moses was assisted by Joshua and Aaron, right? And Moses didn't even have to ask them. Like, they knew exactly what Moses was facing. So without them asking and with God's leading them, they both went and assisted Moses. And as long as Moses had his hands in the upright position towards heaven with his staff, you know what I'm saying, standing on business and in position, Israel did not prevail, and they won every victory. But they didn't do it by themselves. So if you're reading this message and it resonates with you, listen, you're not crazy. You are indeed going to build what the Lord has called you to build, but you're not going to be able to do it by yourself, and he is sending you like-minded people to help you get it done. All you have to do is receive it and discern who sent who when they come looking for you. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. That's all I needed to say. Yes, you are going to build it. Whoever this message is for, you are going to build it. And it may seem like it's heavy right now, but you are not going to have to do it alone, because your help is on the way. Y'all stay blessed.